Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
Welcome to the TCMMA podcast. I'm Chris Cross. We are live for UFC Saudi Arabia, the final three fights. And coming up right now, Kelvin Gastelum versus D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. This is going to be an absolute battle. And these guys are fighting in the welterweight division. Co-main event should be a good one as well. Sergey Pavlovich looking to come back, pick up a victory, right? He got slowed down by Tom Aspinall, but looking to rebound here against Volkov. And then, of course, you got Whittaker, not against Hamza. Sad day, but instead Aliskerov. And a lot of people are interested in how that fight goes down. So here we go. Kelvin Gastelum fighting in the welterweight division against Daniel Rodriguez. He's going back and forth between welterweight and middleweight throughout his career. And this is certainly an interesting one. The crowd is silent right now, awaiting this fight, coming off the big KO victory by Shara Magomedov. If you missed that, it went deep into the third round before Shara got the win and set the crowd up for these final three fights. Here we go. Fights underway. Final three. And I think we're back to 4-4 now. So these final three fights are going to be big in terms of how the overall night is. We need Robert Whittaker to pull this thing off in the main event. And it should be a good one because Aliskerov is a bad dude and he's only lost to Hamza Chimaev. So stay tuned for that. As you know, Kelvin Gastelum, a shorter fighter, and these guys are swinging early. Look out. Kelvin Gastelum's right in the pocket. D-Rod saying in the lead-up this week that he's had the best training camp of his life. We've heard that from fighters before. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't matter. They still lose. And we predicted Kelvin Gastelum to win this fight, so that's who we're rooting for. First 50 seconds gone. And Kelvin Gastelum's a tough opponent, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. It doesn't really matter. So you just got to keep an eye on him. D-Rod's just trying to land a KO. And he's got to be careful from, of losing all his energy early. Welterweight division, we're waiting on Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad, right, for the title. That'll help the division move along. Strongly believe that Leon Edwards is going to win that fight. What's going on with Colby Covington? When's he coming back? Right? 0 for 3 in title fights, just like Dustin Poirier. But a lot of questions left in this division. But it's been hollowed out by Hamza leaving the division to go to middleweight. Right? Kamaru Usman is no longer as good as he once was. We haven't seen him fight in some time. I don't know if anyone wants to see a fourth Colby versus Usman fight. So what's going on in this division? We don't know. Kelvin Gastelum lands a leg kick, comes in with a left and a right, and he's swinging wildly. And I have a feeling he's going to lose some energy here if he's not careful. He's already breathing with the mouth open. And I think Kelvin Gastelum can go at this pace all night. He's an awkward fighter too. When you look at him, he doesn't look like, he's not like this 6'2" dude who's ripped. I mean, he's short, a little stocky, yes, but he doesn't look like a guy with a lot of endurance. Ooh, but he has it, and he lands a right and a left combo. Ooh, D-Rod takes a left, and he can't take many of those. You better get out of there, and he does. 220 left, round one. Let's go, KG. Let's go, baby. And I like D-Rod too, but I got to root against him today. Got to root against him. And already, D-Rod's not moving very well. He's leaning forward. And I'm feeling like Kelvin's going to catch him eventually. Oh, D-Rod comes in with a left and a right. Okay. And you would think D-Rod can utilize that height and reach throughout the fight, but as we see here, D-Rod throws 3, and Kelvin Gastelum's just sidestepping all of them, ducking. Now he lands a left-right combination, lands another left, and D-Rod's taking it right now. D-Rod shoves them off, and they're back to the center. And the style of fighter that D-Rod is plays right into Kelvin Gastelum's MO, right? He's going to stand in there and take some strikes, but he's going to land more. Final minute, round 1. And it just goes to the end of the round. We'll peek into the stats real quick, see what's going on. Oh, big left by D-Rod. Okay. And you see the crowd's full now in Saudi Arabia. It should be. There's only 3 fights left. Earlier in the evening, it was empty. And this thing's been filling up throughout the day. And I'm sure there's a lot of people here that came to see Hamza. But if you're going to lose Hamza, the next best option really is Aliskerov. So you lose a lot, but you still get something. And a nice left by Kelvin and another. And he's opening up now. Final 15 seconds. And another left. And D-Rod's taking another left. Okay. And both these guys are opening up. And D-Rod just doesn't seem comfortable, right? D-Rod, that's the end of the round. D-Rod seems good when he's like landing punches and causing problems for his opponents, but not when the opponent's sitting there and swinging right back. So, just not a good look for him right now. But look, he's leading. I'm surprised. He's leading in significant strikes, 45-40. It does not seem like it. Neither guy with really any 5 seconds of control time for Kelvin Gastelum. No big deal. Head strikes, 30-23, Rodriguez. Okay, so I'm a little surprised because watching it doesn't seem like he's winning the fight, but, if you look at the numbers, he should get round 1, although it's very close. Very close. And when it's close like that, it comes down to just what you're seeing. And what I'm seeing is it seems like Kelvin won that round slightly, but not in the numbers. So we'll see how the judges score that round later if it goes over, 3 rounds. So if you're in the corner of both of these guys, you're telling Kelvin Gastelum, we like that you're sitting in the pocket, that you're striking, right, in the phone booth. But you got to get more active. Because D-Rod doesn't want to keep it active like this. D-Rod is breathing deep, constantly has his mouth open. He's breathing through his mouth. That's not good. He's going to get tired. And Kelvin Gastelum isn't breathing hard at all. So KG's corner is probably telling him to pick up the pace. And D-Rod coming out fast, as you'd expect, but he's going to tire. And early in the round here, Kelvin's taking some punches. But he's got to in order to stay close. Both guys landing leg kicks at the same time. Come on, KG, let's go pick up the pace, man. Pick up the pace. Even if we don't get a finish here, there's a good possibility we're going to get finishes in the next 2 fights. I can't see Whittaker and Aliskerov going 5 rounds. Although anything's possible. And I definitely can't see the heavyweight fight between Pavlovich and Volkov going 3 rounds. So I think that one's going to end pretty quickly, actually. We'll see. That's next. And this is a fight right now you cannot take your eyes off of. I mean, both guys are in close quarters at all times. Even when D-Rod slides to the right like he just did, Kelvin's right there. Nice combo. Big left by D-Rod. But again, Kelvin will take these, man. He'll take some punches to land some punches. He'll spend some money to make some money. KKG. Yeah, Gastelum is slowing down a little bit. And a nice right there by KG. And the crowd kind of quiet right now. This isn't like a big crowd favorite type of fight, right? Neither guy's really like the backbone of the fans, but it is a good striking affair. You gotta, you know, when you go to these UFC events, there's going to be a fight where there's no home crowd favorite, but it's going to be a good fight. So definitely not one you can take your eyes off of. We're approaching the halfway point, and KG gets a takedown. And this is not good for D-Rod, because now you take away the height advantage. You got KG with side control. And we'll see what he can do here. D-Rod trying to work his way back up, and he's going to, as he takes a knee to the body. So nice takedown by KG. Nice work by D-Rod to get back to his feet. And a big left miss by Gastelum. It took like an hour to develop and come through. Ooh, nice body shots by KG. Let's go, KG. Pick it up, man. Come on. You just need one. You just need one, baby. Finish it. And I'll tell you, if they continue at this pace, this is going to challenge the prelim main event for the fight of the night. I mean, they were in over the 150s in terms of strikes, both guys. And they're on pace to equal that. Oh. Boy, they're trade, man. Ooh, big right by KG. 1 minute left in round two. Oh, man. And I have no idea what the numbers look like in this round. We're going to wait and see at the end of the round. I'm trying not to look at them during the rounds from now on so it doesn't influence my decision. Watch it like a judge. Then look at the numbers to confirm. And, of course, now they post it 33-32, so it's dead even. Dead even. Oh, big left by D-Rod. And this isn't one of these fights that if it goes to a decision, it's boring. I mean, these guys are standing there trading. Anytime someone could go down. Neither guy backing off now. Big left by D-Rod. He's starting to get some momentum. And I tell you what, that can leave a mark on the judges right there. You could very easily be up 2-0. KG finishes on top. May or may not credit that as a takedown, but tell you what, this is a very, very close fight. Not only in the totals, but round by round. 85-77 for D-Rod. He came in at 17-4. Gastelum came in at 18-9. Head strikes, D-Rod's way up, 65-50. So to me, he's up 2-0 right now. That's a problem for KG. KG's got 2 takedowns, but only 30 seconds of control. So those two takedowns are meaningless. So that's what you got. And now you're telling KG in the corner, you might need a finish. You know? And a couple curse words coming out right there. So that's exactly what they're telling him. D-Rod's getting work. He's taking some deep breaths. And although he's breathing, hard through the mouth, he's going to be fine getting through round 3. Where after round 1, I thought he'd be more tired. He's not. And who wouldn't be tired at this pace? I mean, they're near 100 significant strikes after 2 rounds. Both guys staring each other down. A lot of people in the crowd with their heads down looking at their cell phones. It's crazy. I'm telling you right now, if I go to a UFC event, I'm not going to be on the cell phone. I promise you. I'm going to take it all in. D-Rod coming out with a big right and left. 440 left. First 20 gone. Ooh. Man, another big left by D-Rod, man. Come on, KG. Shoot. And you can hear the thud when they trade. It's just pap, 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 pap. It's crazy. Definitely going to be two tired fighters at the end of this fight. I hope KG's not looking for the takedown. He needs to get a finish. Yeah. Yeah, Rodriguez is slowing down. Come on, KG. This is your opportunity now. You got to dominate this round. Takedown's not going to do it. Mm. .330 left in the fight. KG starting to bounce a little bit, trying to get those legs going. Lands a leg kick on the inside. And that was more just like a tap. D-Rod, man, he's coming in like this, dude. Come on, KG, right down the pipe. Boom. Let's go. Oh, just missed. Okay. Keep doing it, KG. Straight down the middle. .96-94 now, D-Rod. So KG's winning this round by a little. And this is going to be an awkward decision because it can go 30-27 either way. I mean, it really could. So you might see some wild scorecards here just because the rounds are so close. And a nice takedown by KG. He's in side control. Now he's got to do something here. He's got 230 to work with. I didn't really want him to go to the ground because D-Rod appeared to be getting tired. And he's driving the elbow now. Causing problems for D-Rod on his back. So if he doesn't get the finish, what this is going to do is it's going to secure the round for him, right? So if you're KG, you're going to get the third round. It's looking that way right now. Then you got to hope two judges give you another round. And although I don't like this, he could still squeak out a victory by guarantee, because I don't think either fighter is guaranteed a round on every judge's scorecard. Like, I don't think D-Rod's winning round one on all three or round two or vice versa. So in this type of fight, if you do secure one round for yourself, that could go a long way, especially a possible split decision. Gastelum trying to get them out, but he can't. We'll see. And there's always good fights, man. Lightweight, welterweight, even the middleweight is heating up right now. It's just, you know, when these fights, doesn't matter what the rankings are, it's going to be a good fight. And the matchmakers are doing a heck of a job, which is why you're seeing more decisions this year. Now Kelvin Gastelum standing up, he lands a big right elbow. Nowhere close to a 10-8 round, but definitely the round is going KG right now. And he's going to he'll be highly upset if he loses a split decision, because he's kind of picking up the pace at the end of the fight here. Final 30 seconds. Should see some action. And another takedown by KG. Now he's at 4 takedowns. Close to 3 minutes of control by the time it's all said and done. And he's going to end up leading overall in significant strikes. This is going to be one of those weird ones where you look on paper. Again, if you had a point system here, KG probably wins the fight. I mean, he's leading in almost every category but head strikes. And that's just 76-71. And that'll do it here. So total strikes, 111-101, KG. Significant strikes, 104-99, so very close for KG. Head strikes, 76-71 the other way for D-Rod. Body shots, 15-10. And Gastelum led in leg strikes, 23-8. Had 247 of control to 0 for D-Rod. And 4 takedowns to none. So that's where we stand right now as we wait this decision. And so D-Rod definitely won round 3. It's going to come down to whether or not he can get 2 judges to give him one other round. That's it. So the only way D-Rod wins this fight is if 2 of the 3 judges give him rounds 1 and 2. So it really can go either way, and I think this is almost guaranteed to be a split decision. So stay tuned for that. Next up, Sergey Pavlovich. Stay tuned for this versus Alexander Volkov. Big heavyweight division fight. And then you got Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Following this fight, we're going to take a quick break so we can see what, we can catch you guys up on what happened earlier in the prelims, things like that, and then give you your prediction for the Pavlovich-Volkov fight. So stay tuned for that during the break. And then, of course, we'll always be live and be right back for the beginning of the next fight. Stay tuned for that. So here we go. Both guys in the center of the octagon. We're finally going to get a decision. Starting off the watch party slowly here, if you want to say that. But great fight. And here we go, Bruce. Give it to KG, baby. Come on. Give it to him. 29-28, 30-27, and 30-20. There's no way KG lost because he dominated that round. Yeah. Kelvin Gastelum gets the win. And it looks like he dominated by unanimous decision, but it was anything but domination. Very close fight. But KG gets the win here to move to 19-9. Welterweight division, UFC Saudi Arabia. All right, so 2 fights to go. So stay tuned. We're coming back right after this. Zhao Long and Chang Ho Lee headed to a decision after a great final here in the road to UFC, the 2nd edition bantamweight division, and pretty close fight when you get into the stats. I mean, 140 to 136 in total strikes for Zhao Long, but Chang Ho Lee led in significant strikes, 72 to 63, as we see a limping Zhao Long. Took a lot of knees to the body. Head strikes almost even, 26 to 25, but control time was Zhao Long, surprisingly. Both guys had 2 takedowns, but it's 6:30 of control to just under 2 minutes. So very interesting decision coming before us. And here we go. I don't know which way this is going. Oh, it's going to be split. 29-28 Long. 29-28 Lee. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, it's that close. It makes sense. 29-28. Split decision. And this is after a long tournament. Chang Ho Lee gets the win, and his eyes are bright, and he's excited. Zhao Long is not happy, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be, because he had 5 more minutes of control time. Significant strikes were close, but it was those knees for Chang Ho Lee, which, you look at body strikes, 47. That's incredible. Maybe he deserves a victory. Well, he's now 10-1, and he's a champion here in terms of the tournament. So he'll now be in the UFC. Congratulations to Chang Ho Lee. But Zhao Long will be back. This guy's 26-8. He looked phenomenal as well. This fight went down bantamweight division. First fight of the night at UFC Saudi Arabia. Magomed Sulov and Brenson Ribeiro head to a decision. Both guys in the center of the octagon awaiting the results. And it should be an interesting decision when you look at it. Significant strikes, 22 to 21 for Magomed. I mean, he dominated in total strikes, so 107 to 33. And had 5 takedowns, nearly 10 minutes of control. 3 takedowns for Ribeiro, who had some submission attempts, but will likely lose the fight. 29-28, 29-28, and 28-28. So it's going to be a majority decision for Magomed Sulov. I'm sure I messed that name up, but it's all good. So Brenson Ribeiro got 1 round 10-8, and the other 2 went to Magomed on pretty much all 3 judges' scorecards. Just the difference is he got 2 of them to give a 10-9. So he gets the majority decision here over Brenson Ribeiro. He remains undefeated. Now, he looked impressive really after round 1 to move to 9-0 here. Light heavyweight division, UFC Saudi Arabia. Young Ho Kang and Moin Gafarov headed to a decision after a great finish here in the final 15 seconds. Both guys really trying to get ahead on the scorecards. When you look at the stats here, bantamweight division fight, 137-94 for Kang. In total strikes, significant strikes the other way, big time, 48-12. 25-7 in head strikes, both for Gafarov. So that's going to be a big factor. He's also got more control time, 6:40 versus 5 minutes. But it was Kang with 3 takedowns on 11 attempts. I don't think that'll be enough. We'll see. And here we go. It's going to be unanimous. 30-27 on all 3. Wow. I didn't see that. When Gafarov gets the win, and he knew. There was no fear in his face on that decision. He gets the win. He moves to 19-6. And again, he did it on significant strikes. He did it on head strikes, 25-7. He did it on control time. Giving up a takedown. Well, 3 takedowns, but reversing some positions. Gaining control time against the fence. He just controlled the fight. And that's why he got the unanimous decision. Moved to 19-6 here. Bantamweight division. UFC. Saudi Arabia. Renat Fakhretdinov and Nicholas Dalby awaiting the decision. Both guys in the center of the octagon. I think a lot of people thought Renat was going to come in here and walk through Nicholas Dalby. It didn't happen. Pretty even fight. Here we go with the decision. The only big difference is Renat had 5 takedowns. It was 56-49 in significant strikes, 43-33 in head strikes. Here we go. Bruce Buffer. It's going to be split. 29-28 Dalby. 29-28 Renat. Here we go. 29-28. Both guys look nervous. Renat Fakhretdinov won by split decision. And man, this fight went exactly how I thought it would go. It was not going to be easy for Renat, but I thought he would pull it out, and he had to prove himself here. And again, Nicholas Dalby's 23-4. This is not an easy opponent by any means in the welterweight division, but Renat showed he can fight with the best of them, and this is going to go a long way for his future. And it's not what the Saudi Arabian crowd wanted to see. They want to see a big finish, but it just wasn't going to happen. But Renat gets the win to move to 22-1. Look out. Welterweight division, UFC, Saudi Arabia. Felipe Lima backs off now. He's certainly in this fight, though, right? I mean, he's done well here, early 3rd round. And getting into the stats, I mean, it's like 45-30 significant strikes. He's up. Control time goes the other way to Naimov, though. But look at Lima trying to take the back now. And Naimov better be careful here. Look at him climbing up the back. Oh, my goodness. He's got it in tight. Oh, look at Naimov's face. He's going to tap. That's it. What a big UFC debut. Surprising victory for Felipe Lima, who quickly climbs atop the octagon. Looks like he's going over. No, he's going to stay on top, but he gets the submission, and the crowd is stunned. Naimov, expected to be one of the better fighters coming up in the featherweight division, gets a late opponent in Felipe Lima, who's waiting around, saying he's fighting for his mom, takes the fight again on late notice, willing to fight anyone to get in the UFC, and guess what? He's getting a contract now, and you got to love stories like this. And the guy's Brazilian, and he's 13-1, and gosh, UFC Brazil has a lot of UFC fighters. I mean, it seems like half the UFC is Brazilian. It's crazy. 49-32 significant strikes. Head strikes was 13-all. It was going to be an interesting decision. Might have come down to the 3rd round. But Felipe Lima doesn't wait for the judges. He takes it on his own and gets the submission here. Featherweight division. UFC, Saudi Arabia. Nasrat Haqparast and Jared Gordon likely putting on the fight of the night here. Just an incredible fight. We're awaiting the decision, but looking at total strikes, 137-152 in favor of Gordon. Right? 124-139 in significant strikes in favor of Gordon. Getting the round-by-round breakdown. Haqparast led in round 1. Gordon led in rounds 2 and 3. And it's likely be a win for Gordon. Here we go. It's going to be split. 29-28 Gordon. 29-28 Haqparast. Here we go. Oh, baby. It's got to be Gordon, right? Nasrat Haqparast gets the win, and Jared Gordon is not pleased. He is not pleased. I mean, and you go up and down. When you look at the overall stats, Gordon led almost in everything. When you look at the round by round stats, Gordon dominated the second and third round. So how Haqparast got the win, I don't know. But we had him predicted to win, so we'll take it. And we're back to 3-3 here. But Haqparast will move to 17-5. Gordon will fall to 20-7. Always tough. Lightweight division. Likely the fight of the night here at UFC Saudi Arabia. Ooh, nice leg kick by Johnny Walker, but he takes a right. And as we said in the prediction, both guys capable of being KO'd. But Johnny Walker's got a weak chin, man. He's beaten some good fighters, lost to some good fighters. But when he gets touched, he goes down. Right now, holding strong. First 45 seconds gone. And the tough thing with Volkan is he doesn't back up. Like, the guy's flat-footed and he comes forward. He, like, dares you to hit him, but he's going to counter every time. And Johnny Walker would serve himself well by landing leg kicks, but he's not doing it enough. And Volkan's standing face-to-face now. He's, like, within 3 feet of him at all times. Johnny Walker's got the reach advantage, so you don't really want him that close. And another leg kick, 2 leg kicks in a row by Johnny Walker. And Volkan eyeing him down now. Comes in with a left hook, just misses. And a leg kick. Boom, nice body shot by Volkan. And a left and a right, a left. Oh, Johnny Walker's in a little trouble here. And already those hands are coming down. This isn't good for Johnny. Takes a left to the body, and you can see the facial expression. This is not good. Takes a left and a right. He's breathing hard. Johnny Walker's going to lose his fight, I think. Yep, he's already grabbing at the nose. And if you're Volkan, you just keep the pressure on now. And another leg kick. 2 minutes gone here. Round number 1. Ooh, and a nice left hook by Volkan. Oh, Walker goes down. And he gets back up. He ducks the left. And he's in trouble. Oh, boy, Volkan's pounding away now. Johnny Walker's back to the middle. Flying knee misses. Then he stumbles. Yeah, and Johnny Walker's not looking good here. Volkan's just got to finish. Oh, and a big right drops Johnny. And he lands another right. And that's it. And, man, the ref should have really got in there 1 punch before he did. And that's going to set the crowd up for the next 4 fights because they're pumped up now. And everyone's out there hugging Volkan as he gets a big KO over Johnny Walker. And that's going to help him in the standings for sure of the light heavyweight division. But Volkan Oezdemir gets the KO of Johnny Walker. And we went with Johnny Walker, but I was worried about the KO power of Volkan and the weak chin of Johnny Walker, and I'll pay for this prediction. Volkan Oezdemir wins his 20th professional fight here, light heavyweight division, UFC Saudi Arabia. So now as we jump into the co-main event, it's going to be a good one in the heavyweight division. Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov, who's a tall dude, right? He's 6'7". He causes problems for people because of his height. Doesn't have a long reach, but his height causes problems for people because you got to punch upward. Like an uppercut, you almost got to jump off your feet, right? To catch a 6'7" guy. So let's get into that prediction right now. In the heavyweight division at UFC Saudi Arabia, you got your boy Sergey Pavlovich coming in at 18-2. Hard to believe he's 18-2. Taking on ever the veteran Alexander Volkov, who comes in at 37-10. You got to love this one. Volkov, always the tallest guy, right? 4 inches taller, is 6'7". He's 35. Pavlovich, 32. But Pavlovich, even though he's 5 inches shorter, has a 4-inch reach advantage. Long wingspan, 84 inches compared to 80 for Volkov. He fights southpaw or left-handed. Volkov fights right-handed. Now, in terms of activity, that leans towards Pavlovich with 8.2 significant strikes per minute to 5.1 for Volkov. Takedown game, almost non-existent. So you're going to get to see a heavyweight striking affair, which is about as good as you can get. Pavlovich, 75% takedown defense. You remember he was KO'd by Tom Aspinall in the first round in his last fight, but before that he ran off a bunch of wins over guys like Curtis Blades. That's a big one. First round KO. Tai Tuivasa, first round KO. Derek Lewis, first round KO. So, he was stopped by Tom Aspinall, but he was on a roll before that. Volkov, 73% takedown defense. So both guys have great takedown defense. It means even more this fight is going to stay standing. He's got a win over Tai Tuivasa by submission in his last fight. Alexander Romanov, first round KO. Jair Zeno Rosenstrike, first round KO. His last loss was also to Tom Aspinall by submission. So this is one of those matches. I mean, obviously, when you got two fighters fight, who's better? But they both lost to a common opponent and win what seems to be like at least 80 to 90% of the time. Even though Pavlovich lost the last fight, I'm going to go with him here. I think he's just a little bit better of a striker than Volkov's. The numbers would indicate that he's more active. But listen, in a heavyweight fight like this, when it comes to one-punch KO, anything can happen. Anything. But I'm going to lean towards Sergey Pavlovich to get the job done here. Likely, one of these guys is getting KO'd, so I think Pavlovich is going to get the KO over Volkov sometime in their late first, or early second round. Look for that. But one way or the other, in my opinion, Pavlovich wins to move to 19-2 here, heavyweight division, UFC Saudi Arabia. Yeah, so close one here in the heavyweight division. It's just Pavlovich ran into a tough Tom Aspinall. Right, that's the only thing is Tom Aspinall is trending right now. He's looking great. He's got the rematch against Curtis Blades. If he can get that, he's likely fighting for the title for real this time, as he already should be, not Stipe Miocic. So Pavlovich wins this fight.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back. This is your boy Chris Cross. We are live. UFC Saudi Arabia co-main event. Get ready to start. I don't expect this one to last too long at all. You got Sergey Pavlovich, you saw in the prediction, he's number 3 in the heavyweight division. How is he going to deal with the 6'7", tied for the tallest fighter in the UFC? There's nobody at 6'8". Volkov is 6'7". So either way, I mean, you're punching upward. Even uppercuts, dude, you got to really, you got to go way up there. We're getting pictures from the crowd, video from the crowd. They're going crazy. They're ready for this one because this is not going to last long at all. All right, here we go. Number 3, Sergey Pavlovich. Number 7, I believe number 7, Alexander Volkov. Heavyweight division, UFC Saudi Arabia. I expect this fight to end in the first round. We'll see. Pavlovich needs to bounce back with some big victories. Actually, Volkov's number 5. Okay. And at first, every fighter is kind of a little weary of the height, right? I mean, you almost feel like, okay, I got to pick my spots. And already just that height advantage becomes a big advantage, at least initially. But Volkov doesn't really seem to capitalize on that too often. And on the come up, Pavlovich looked unstoppable, right? Looked like nobody would slow him down. Until Tom Aspinall, who captured the interim belt by beating him. I think a lot of people thought that Pavlovich would win that fight. I mean, that's where it was trending going into that one. But when you look at Tom Aspinall, his only blemish lately was an injury 15 seconds into the Curtis Blades fight, and they're going to rematch soon, so. Pavlovich beating everybody but what? John Jones, Tom Aspinall. I don't think he's fought Curtis Blades, if I'm not mistaken. And a nice kick, body kick there by Volkov. And I just think Pavlovich is going to eventually land this right, and this fight's going to come to an end quickly. And he's already landed some big jabs. And Volkov trying to keep him off him by landing the leg kicks, but I don't think that's bothering Pavlovich at all. There's the big right. Hits the body, though. He threw a straight right hand to hit the chest of Volkov. That's how tall he is. You gotta lean upward. You gotta go up, baby. Pavlovich's head is at the chin of Volkov. Volkov just likes those leg kicks, but that's not going to do it, man. And a nice stiff left by Pavlovich. Yep, and that power's starting to come now. Pavlovich starting to feel a little more comfortable. Volkov switching lefty, back to righty, back to lefty. And I know Pavlovich is going to struggle with this height, but it just seems to me that Volkov doesn't have that power. He just got to get in there and start swinging, and this fight's going to be over. And another left by Pavlovich. Volkov doing a good job of staying out of tough situations, though. He's keeping his distance, using the height and reach to his advantage. He's not landing like any big shots or anything, but he realizes Pavlovich doesn't want to come in. 150 left, round one. Yeah. There you go, Pav. Come on. Yeah, and his face looks like he's getting frustrated. And hopefully the frustration turns into power. Oh, big left and right. Here we go. Another left. Another left. Okay, Pav, come on. Keep it going now. Keep touching him. Don't let him get comfortable. Volkov's covering up every time, too. He recognizes the power. Pavlovich wants you to stop moving. He just wants you to stand there so he can land his power. He's going to struggle against guys that move really well. It's not that Volkov moves really well, but he moves well enough that Pavlovich has to keep resetting. And if you move every couple seconds, you don't stand in the same spot for more than 3 or 4 seconds, you're going to have some success. Volkov lands a big left. Volkov is fighting like a welterweight in a heavyweight fight. Just continually touching. Tap, tap, leg kick, tap. And he's outpacing Pavlovich right now. I'm sure. 21-12, yes. And they're going to have to get in his head in the corner. Because is Pavlovich reeling from the loss to Aspinall, right? Is that causing him problems? Both guys trade a big left. Nice. Final 5 seconds. And I guess we're going to get a round 2. Didn't see that coming. And that'll do it. And I'd love to hear what the corner for Pavlovich says, but they're going to go to commercial. What they should be saying is, listen, get your act together. Get in there and start being more aggressive, okay? He doesn't have the power to finish you, all right? Not in the first 1 to 2 to 3 strikes. So you can come in and take 1 or 2 and boom, 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 and land your power. That's what you got to do, because if not, Volkov is going to land these little taps, punches and kicks, and then, you know, slide out of there and force Pavlovich to chase and reset. And that's not what Pavlovich wants to do. If you're Volkov's corner, you know, great job in the first round. Keep doing what you're doing. But recognize that at some point, Pavlovich is going to come in and try to get real aggressive. Okay? And try to get you into a situation where you're both swinging, and that's not going to be good for you. So keep your distance, keep moving, keep the head off the center line, and never stand in one spot more than 3 seconds. And then you stay out of, you know, these situations where there's big strikes landed, right? You can take 1 or 2 from Pavlovich, but he hits that 3rd or 4th with some power, you're in trouble. Nice jab by Pavlovich out the gate. And already trying to get more aggressive. There it is. He whiffed on the big right, but still, you got to throw it. See? And there he goes. Pavlovich has to chase. And a nice leg kick by Pavlovich. Let me peek into the stats here before we get too deep into this round. 30-13 for Volkov in significant strikes, but 12-12 in head strikes. So he's doing a good job. 11-0 on leg kicks, 7-1 on body strikes. No takedowns or control time by either fighter, which is fine. Nobody's complaining about that. There you go, Volt. Staying in one spot so Sergey can KO you now. Quit moving. Dang. Pavlovich has to get better at this. His coaches and teammates got to work with him on having more of a bounce. Right? He's too slow to be chasing people. And as the fighters get better, a John Jones, an Aspinall, even a Volkov, nice leg kick by Pavlovich, they're going to move enough to where they stay out of range. 90 seconds going in round 2. There you go. Now you're sucking Volkov in. Yep. Now go. See him retreating, Pav? Go. Go. As soon as Sergey lands, he needs to follow with like 3 or 4 more. Why can't he see that? Because if not, you're chasing now for 10 seconds. Yeah, that's frustrating. And I really think if Volkov wins this fight, it weakens the division after the top 3 fighters. Or 4. Curtis Blades. I mean, Stipe's even up there, right, still. But Curtis Blades, Tom Aspinall, John Jones, those are like the top 3. They've separated themselves. And you would think Pavlovich with, what, 1 or 2 losses? What's his record? Let me look at it. 18-2. So you would think Pavlovich with 18-2 would be the next best option. And if Volkov wins this, with some of the losses he's taken, it really weakens the division. And I wish they'd give Derek Lewis this fight with Volkov. Be a similar style. But Derek Lewis is good at slowing his opponents down. It'd be interesting. I think he could KO Volkov. And all of a sudden, he's back in the top 5. But I don't see them doing that. And if Volkov can win this fight, he's probably going to be on hold for a while because you already have, Stipe and John Jones getting ready to fight. You got Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades getting ready to fight. So you're fighting the loser of somebody. Oh, and a nice left by Volkov. Nearly drops Pavlovich. And that will be crazy. God, you're playing right into Volkov's game, man. Just crazy. And second by second, that fear that Pavlovich was putting into the hearts and minds of other heavyweight fighters is slipping away. Quickly. Oh, nice leg kick by Volkov. There you go, Sergey. You need more of that. You gotta let it go. Yeah, Pavlovich is getting tired. This is a very disappointing performance by Sergey so far. And he's potentially taking away our winning night right now. I think we're 5-4 heading into this fight. If we drop here, we're going to be 5-5 going into the main event where we're 10-10 on the season. So that's not going to be cool. All right, round 2's done. Not very exciting for Pavlovich. He's probably getting crushed in the stats. Let me check it out. 39-25. So he was down 17. Now he's down 14. So he led by 3 in that round. Doesn't even seem like it. As we head into a third and decisive round, I would not be surprised if Volkov is up 2-0 on all 3 judges' scorecards. And a guy that has 10 losses is potentially going to be in the top 3 or 4 of the division. I'm sure they're going to move Stipe up. Like if Sergey goes down, they're going to move Stipe from 4 to 3, right? Because of the impending John Jones fight. I don't know how he's even ranked when he hasn't been in the octagon in years, it seems like. But he'll move up to 3. They'll put Volkov at 4. We still got 5 minutes to go before any of that happens. Maybe Sergey comes on strong in round 3 and squeaks out a victory, but that still won't be a good look. Like, he needs a KO in this fight. I mean, he just has to have a KO in this fight. And you remember, early in the year, there were several weeks where we had 3 straight decisions in the watch party. Made for a long night. We might be headed back to that now. I mean, if you're not going to get a KO in the heavyweight division, you might be in for a long 5-round fight between Whittaker and Aliskerov. I hope not. As much as I like to see Aliskerov win, I'll take a Whittaker first-round KO all day. First 45 seconds gone, round 3. And this fight is headed to the finish quickly. And you see the crowd is quiet. I mean, it started out the main card with back-to-back. You know, you had a first-round KO of Johnny Walker. Then a third-round TKO by Shera against Antonio Tricoli. And all of a sudden, we have a long fight with Kelvin Gastelum and D-Rod. Now we got a long fight with Pavlovich and Volkov. This is a division you expect to get a finish. And going into this fight, you'd say the worst thing for Pavlovich is to get into a boxing match with Volkov. Because to me, Pavlovich has the power to KO Volkov. Like, he should be taking more chances right now. You cannot afford this to go to a decision. It doesn't even help you. And guess what? If you go forward and you lose, you're only dropping a spot or 2. So go for it. Oh, there it is. Couple big rights now by Sergey. He's taking some too. That's the thing. Is, see? That jab is just dominating for Volkov, man. He's just dominating Pavlovich with the jab. As soon as you get hit, Pav, you got to respond. Yeah, exactly. Just like I told you in the break, the corner's yelling at Volkov, do not get stuck in the phone booth with Pavlovich. Stay with your game plan. It's got you this far. But now Volkov's slowing down a little bit, right? He's still moving, but not quite as much. And with every punch by Sergey, you're seeing some flinching now from Volkov. 62-35, Volkov in significant strikes. He's pulled away in this round, but he almost slipped into a close battle confrontation for multiple seconds, which is not what he wants. And his corner got on him right away, and he seems to gotten it back together. And as I hear DC and them talking about right now, it's true, man. The game plan for Volkov right now, even if the judges rob him of this fight, the game plan is impeccable. Coaches have done a fantastic job. They recognize the situation. It's going to be hard to KO Pavlovich. Don't know if Volkov has that individual punch power. So you resorted to a limited way of winning this fight, and that's by touching him every couple seconds and then moving. And let Pavlovich chase you. Nice right by Pav. And when you look at their faces, it's clear who's winning this fight. I mean, Volkov just looks clean like me, right? He looks good. He looks good like me right now. Pavlovich looks like it's just not good. Final minute of the fight. Please let me know in the chat room what you think of his performance. We're going to get to those comments here in a little bit. Might give us something to do if we're stuck in a 5-round fight with Whittaker and Aliskerov. We'll see. Final 40 seconds. And I really think Volkov is marching to victory. Round 1 for sure, right? And in these close fights, when you win 1 round for sure, you're likely going to win the fight. As we saw with Gastelum in round 3 in the last fight. Oh, and that one affected Volkov. You better get out of there. Final 20 seconds. Come on, Pab. You got to let it go. There's a tap. 10 seconds left. You got to let it go. And even now it's too late. Ooh, big right. And Volkov lands a big leg kick and another one and a left at the bell. And Pavlovich puts his head down, and I think he knows he's about to lose this fight. If they take this from Volkov, you know, as much as I want my prediction to come right, Volkov won this fight, man. I mean, let's be honest. 73-41 in significant strikes. Head strikes 39-36 for Pavlovich. Ooh, okay. But the leg and body strikes are just dominant. I mean, 37-2 overall in both those categories, almost no control time. While we sit and wait, make sure you get into the chat room. Let me know who you think is going to win this fight, but most especially the next fight. Let me put that poll up right now while I'm waiting. Who's going to win, right? I know earlier in the week, I think it was Whittaker who won the poll, so we'll see what happens here. But make your pick known before the fight, please. Who you got, Whittaker or Aliskerov? Let me know. Quick commercial break right now as we await the decision, but Volkov dominated here, not even close. And they're making me look bad. Told the fiance this will be over at 5:30 because I was guaranteeing a first round finish in the heavyweight fight, but you know, it didn't happen. Oh, after the fact, now Sergey wants to shove him. That's bullcrap, man. It looked like Volkov was just going in there to tell him good fight and stuff like that. Sergey shoved him, so you should be mad because you fought like crap. Here we go. It's going to be unanimous. 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. Wow. Just a dominant performance for Alexander Volkov, who gets the victory. And he's looking like a huge 6'7" fighter. Crowd is clapping, but that's not one where they really had any ties to either fighter, right? Yeah, so Volkov just tried to say, hey, great fight. But Sergey was mad and shoved him. So that's some, I don't want to use the bad word on the show, you know, but that's some, yeah, that was terrible. But Alexander Volkov is going to be in the top 4 of the heavyweight division. Big win. He's going to move up at least one spot. Pavlovich probably going to drop to 5 or 6. And that's the way it went down here. Heavyweight division. UFC Saudi Arabia. All right, so stay tuned. We got one break left. And let me set this up because I'm slipping here. During this break, you're going to hear a lot about Khamzat Chimaev and what happened there. You're going to get the prediction for Aliskerov and Whittaker, and we'll come back. We got one fight left, so stay tuned. It's not going to be long now. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Now with Khamzat out, this division is on hold as far as championship fights for a while. Like, we already know what the future is. Regardless of who wins, Sean Strickland gets the next fight because, you know, he lost a split decision to Duplessis. He beat Adesanya. So, yeah, he's next in line. King Terzi again. I don't think they should fast-track Islam to title without Chimaev. He has only pulled out of one fight in his career. The 3 Leon fights were the same illness that the UFC rebooked month after month. Yes. Jim Brony says UFC pulls fighters all the time and then make fake stories about why the fights get canceled. They booked Nate versus Khamzat to promote the card. Those two guys were never going to fight. That's interesting that Jim Brony says that. You know, I didn't think that fight was going to happen either. I mean, I couldn't believe that Khamzat gets to number 3 and then he's going to have to face an unranked Nate Diaz. It's like they're using Khamzat in that situation. Werewolf MMA says Ikram by first round KO. I would not be surprised. Jumbroni, Khamzat is UFC Golden Goose. They probably booked him versus Whittaker and then realized they could make something else happen, or this whole thing was to promote the card. MMA weighs in. We just need Khamzat back. He apparently had a stomach bug, So it wasn't something autoimmune, according to his manager. Mr. Softy MMA. Sean is fighting Whittaker next if Rob wins. UFC will pay him. However, if Aliskerov wins, they pay in Chimaev heavy for the main slot in Abu Dhabi for the #1 contender fight. Yeah, I can see that. I don't see Sean Strickland fighting down again. And no matter who wins this fight, Strickland will be fighting down. And I don't see that happening. So I think you're going to see, if Aliskerov wins, you're going to see Hamza versus Aliskerov. You got to, right? Aliskerov's in a 2-fight battle here to maintain whatever spot he gets if he beats Whittaker. And now he's 80% in the chat poll, right? 4 out of 5 guys say Aliskerov is going to win, which is incredible, right? Because Whittaker is ever the veteran. He beats everyone in front of him except the title fighters right now. So it's interesting to see the comments in the chat room. This is going to be a great fight. It'll answer some questions in this division. But the bottom line is we just got to get past this fight, and then we can start looking at matchups going forward. But I don't see Sean Strickland fighting Robert Whittaker or Ikram Aliskerov. I think the winner of this fight is kind of on hold for a while, and we'll need another fight to get where they got to get to. If Whittaker wins, he's not fighting Hamza again, right? That fight was already set up. It didn't happen. He's not going to do it. He's going to start barking up the ladder, and then you're going to have a problem because Strickland's not going to fight him. Who's going to fight Robert Whittaker? Could he get the loser of Izzy and Duplessis? That's very possible as well, as Sean Strickland faces the winner. I think that's the most likely option. Aliskerov wins. He's on the back burner, and we'll fight Hamza. So that's just kind of how it looks going forward. So we kind of have an angle regardless of who wins this fight. But it will certainly be an exceptional fight to watch, and we're all going to find out how good Ikram Aliskerov is. If we got to miss Hamza, which we obviously are, Ikram is not a bad bet. Even though it's early in his career to get a fight like this, it'll be interesting to see what he can do, and it's a great opportunity for him, one that I don't think he'll squander, and he obviously took the fight for a reason because he's preparing to win this thing. That's just my opinion. But listen, I'm sick as a dog. I wanted to get out here and make sure I get this to you. So I knew if I didn't get it done today, I'd be in trouble the next 2 days, because the next 2 days we want to get into the UFC news that usually breaks on Tuesday and Wednesdays. Look for the Duplessis Adesanya prediction coming in short order. And when you look at the do list, right, you're going to see Israel Adesanya at number 8. I don't have Dricus Duplessis up there for some reason. He probably should be, but he's not. So that should lead you to believe that I'm going to take Adesanya, but not so quick. I got to look at the stats. I just know Adesanya, when he's fighting as a contender, fights much better than when he does as the champion for some reason. He's getting to that point in his career where, you know, he's starting to slow down, but when you give him an edge, like he wants to take the title and he really wants to beat Duplessis bad, you're going to get the best version of Adesanya. Now, as we jump into the main event, middleweight division, right? It's supposed to be Robert Whittaker and Hamza. If that was the case, you'd get no middleweight title fight announced just yet until that fight is done. Even though it would likely be Duplessis versus Adesanya, which would create a problem because Hamza and Strickland would have no fight to take. Strickland's not fighting Hamza. He's not fighting down again. He's only fighting for the title. So now you get this fight announced today. Duplessis versus Adesanya. Maybe it was on accident, I don't know. But once Dana White posted the video with that in the background, Adesanya felt like he can get on the social media and make the official statement. So it is official. That's the fight for the title. But nonetheless, Whittaker and Aliskerov will create a situation where one of these guys will move into or remain, if you're Whittaker, in the top 5. Right? In the top 5. And that's a Mayvolv, Whittaker or Aliskerov, Sean Strickland, Adesanya, and Duplessis. Those will be the guys. After this fight's over, the great month of June for middleweight is officially over. And unfortunately, we don't get to see Hamza, as King Terzi told us in the chat room moments ago, that it was stomach issues for Hamza, not an immune system problem. He will be back. It's just tough because he can't fight in the United States, thanks to Biden. Right? If Trump's the president, Hamza can likely fight in the U.S. again. That's the bottom line. Because Trump's a UFC fan, he can look past those things and say, Hamza, go ahead and get your visa. Let's get these fights underway. I think that's what Trump would do. Because Dana White would probably ask personally and say he's not a threat in any way. regardless of who he hangs out with. Nonetheless, that's the case right now. The election's not too far off, and that would open the door for Hamza to fight more often in American settings where he can't now. And the UFC's only going overseas to places Hamza can fight like once or twice a year, so it's really a problem right now. But nonetheless, Hamza is out. We're getting into the chat room. Before we get into this prediction, it looks like right now, among the people that polled, 2 out of 3 or 67% think Aliskerov is going to win. Incredible. Incredible. I mean, it's possible, yes. And maybe I go with him in the prediction. Let's see. Let's get into it right now. In the middleweight division, your main event, new main event at UFC Saudi Arabia. You got Robert Whittaker coming in at 26-7, taking on Ikram Aliskerov, who comes in at 15-1. And by now, we've known this, but you also know that he's only lost to Hamza Chimaev, so rightful replacement for him. Both guys stand 6 feet tall. Whittaker, 2 years older, 33 compared to 31. Both guys in the prime. Like it. Aliskerov, 2-inch reach advantage. He fights southpaw. Whittaker fights right-handed. Aliskerov has the advantage in activity big time. 8.2 significant strikes per minute to 4.6 for Whittaker. And also Aliskerov lands just shy of 1 takedown per round. So he's got the edge, at least in terms of the numbers, but Whittaker, 82% takedown defense. He's coming off the win over Paulo Costa by decision. Neither fighter took the fight to the ground. You know Paulo Costa likes to stand and strike, but he got dominated there 95-67 by Whittaker. Whittaker lost to Duplessis by KO. Before that, he beat Marvin Vettori, so proving he's in that top 5 of the division where Aliskerov is trying to get, and lost to Adesanya before that. Now, in between the Adesanya fights, he beat Kelvin Gastelum, Jared Cannonier, and Darren Till. So, despite not being able to hold on to the title any longer, he's still in the top 3 or 4 for sure. Forget the rankings, right? He's definitely in the top 3 or 4 of this division, so this is a perfect opportunity for Aliskerov. Now, Aliskerov's got good numbers, but he's fought Warley Alves, beat him by KO. Beat Phil Hawes by KO. Submitted Mario Sousa at the Contender Series. So this is really early to face a guy like Robert Whittaker, in my opinion. There's no doubt that Aliskerov has great numbers. Now, if he fought the schedule that Robert Whittaker has against Adesanya, Duplessis, all the top names, those numbers are going to come down. So really, you have to dismiss those numbers, right? He would still land more takedowns than Robert Whittaker, but the takedown defense for Whittaker, when you're looking at those opponents, is really good. This is why Whittaker is a slight favorite. And although, I'll be honest, I'd like to see Aliskerov win this fight and shock everybody and catapult himself into the top 5, which would only prove further that Hamza Chimaev eventually belongs in there if he can get back to 100%. However, Robert Whittaker has the experience in this situation, right? I think Aliskerov is a little early to take this fight. The good news for him, early in his career to take this fight, but the good news for Aliskerov is that he's fresh and he gets the opportunity. And good fighters don't, look past an opportunity like this. They take this fight, and he was training for a fight just a week earlier. So he's primed and ready to go. He's had a solid training camp, just like Whittaker. Now, he wasn't planning on fighting Robert Whittaker. That may, that'll be a negative, but at the same time, he's 100% ready to fight. I just like Robert Whittaker by a little bit just because of the experience. But Aliskerov isn't going anywhere. I look for Robert Whittaker to win this fight just on sheer experience, especially if it goes into the deeper rounds. He wins, in my opinion, likely by decision. It's going to be a close fight, and Aliskerov's going to have 2 good rounds on takedowns. Please believe it. But Whittaker wins, in my opinion, by decision to move to 27-7 here. Middleweight division, your main event at UFC Saudi Arabia. And I'm just taking the best pick in this situation, right? And not only does Whittaker have the experience, if it does go 4 or 5 rounds, he definitely has more experience in that setting. Now, could Aliskerov come in here and finish him in the first round? Sure. Make my prediction wrong? Absolutely. Would not be surprised whatsoever. But when making the pick, I got to go with Robert Whittaker. All day, every day. As we look into the chat room, a lot of stuff going on here. King Terzi saying, am I delusional to think Ikram walks through Whittaker? And the Hamza rematches Ikram for the #1 contender fight, guys? Question mark. Seems like Sean's fighting the winner of Dricus Izzy. Yeah, and it seems now with Hamza out, this division is on hold as far as championship fights for a while. Like, we already know what the future is. Regardless of who wins, Sean Strickland gets the next fight because, he lost a split decision to Duplessis. He beat Adesanya. So, yeah, he's next in line. King Terzi again. I don't think they should fast track Islam to title without Chimaev. He has only pulled out of one fight in his career. The 3 Leon fights were the same illness that the UFC rebooked month after month. Yes. Jumbroni says UFC pulls fighters all the time and then make fake stories about why the fights get canceled. They booked Nate versus Hamza to promote the card. Those 2 guys were never going to fight. It's interesting that Jumbroni says that. I didn't think that fight was going to happen either. I mean, I couldn't believe that Hamza gets to #3 and then he's going to have to face an unranked Nate Diaz. It's like they're using Hamza in that situation. Werewolf MMA says Ikram by first round KO. I would not be surprised. Jumbroni, Hamza is UFC Golden Goose. They probably booked him versus Whittaker and then realized they could make something else happen, or this whole thing was to promote the card. MMA weighs in. We just need Hamza back. He apparently had a stomach bug, so it wasn't something autoimmune, according to his manager. Mr. Softy MMA. Sean is fighting Whittaker next if Rob wins. UFC will pay him. However, if Aliskerov wins, they pay in Chimaev heavy for the main slot in Abu Dhabi for the #1 contender fight. Yeah, I can see that. I don't see Sean Strickland fighting down again. And no matter who wins this fight, Strickland will be fighting down. And I don't see that happening. So I think you're going to see, if Aliskerov wins, you're going to see Hamza versus Aliskerov. You got to, right? Aliskerov's in a 2-fight battle here to maintain whatever spot he gets if he beats Whittaker. And now he's 80% in the chat poll, right? 4 out of 5 guys say Aliskerov is going to win, which is incredible, right? Because Whittaker is ever the veteran. He beats everyone in front of him except the title fighters right now. So it's interesting to see the comments in the chat room. This is going to be a great fight. It'll answer some questions in this division. But the bottom line is we just got to get past this fight, and then we can start looking at matchups going forward. But I don't see Sean Strickland fighting Robert Whittaker or Ikram Aliskerov. I think the winner of this fight is kind of on hold for a while, and we'll need another fight to get where they got to get to. If Whittaker wins, he's not fighting Hamza again, right? That fight was already set up. It didn't happen. He's not going to do it. He's going to start barking up the ladder. And then you're going to have a problem because Strickland's not going to fight him. Who's going to fight Robert Whittaker? Could he get the loser of Izzy and Duplessis? That's very possible as well, as Sean Strickland faces the winner. I think that's the most likely option. Aliskerov wins. He's on the back burner and will fight Hamza. So that's just kind of how it looks going forward. So we kind of have an angle regardless of who wins this fight. But it will certainly be an exceptional fight to watch, and we're all going to find out how good Ikram Aliskerov is. If we got to miss Hamza, which we obviously are, Ikram is not a bad bet. Even though it's early in his career to get a fight like this, it'll be interesting to see what he can do, and it's a great opportunity for him, one that I don't think he'll squander, and he obviously took the fight for a reason because he's preparing to win this thing.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back. It's your boy Chris Cross. This is the TCMMA podcast. And this is rough to watch, ladies and gentlemen. This is terrible. When the video cut to Ikram Aliskerov, I was just like, oh man, it should be Hamza. It should be Hamza. This is Hamza's opportunity. And Aliskerov might capitalize off of it. We'll see. Robert Whittaker looking mean as ever. Walking out with the hood over his head, as he always does. He's a slight favorite, although it's coming down toward fight time. I mean, it's coming down. It's down to 1.5. And he's 9-2 as a UFC favorite. But he's in a whole different territory now, right? He was going to fight Hamza. That would have been a tough fight. Ikram Aliskerov, still a very tough fight. Dagestani fighter. You already know how that goes. So Aliskerov's introduced. Robert Whittaker is now introduced, and this fight is less than a minute from kickoff. And I'm still getting chills. I mean, even though Hamza is not fighting, I'm getting chills just for the simple fact that Aliskerov gets this opportunity as well, you know? And Hamza beat him. And here we go, Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov, full fight reaction. We're here, whether it's 1 minute or 5 rounds, we'll see. Both fighters touch gloves. Robert Whittaker, mean mugging as always. And this is your main event, middleweight division at UFC Saudi Arabia. And again, regardless of what happens here, all the credit to Robert Whittaker. This is a number 3 contender who's given Hamza a chance. Hamza can't go. He's given an unranked fighter an opportunity. And he's ever the fighter. And when these guys do this, I have to become a fan of Whittaker, you know, regardless of what happens here. Just because he was willing to take these fights, it didn't matter who. You know, fight's underway. Robert Whittaker knows he's not in title contention right at this minute. But if you take fights like this, it goes a long way. And the crowd sounding a lot louder now, much like a soccer game for this fight, as they've been quiet the past 2, just because they haven't had really anyone to cheer for, which is crazy. First 30 seconds gone, and you know, you're already getting the look of a potential 5-round fight, right? Because it's starting out very slow. And which guy will go for it first? Whittaker lands a leg kick, and it was countered by a combination by Aliskerov. And those odds are coming closer and closer to even as this fight is now underway. It's down from 1.5 to 1.3. Both guys dancing around a little bit. Aliskerov, certainly a big dude, not scared to get in the pocket. And he takes a left from Robert Whittaker. And what's going through Whittaker's head? This is not what he planned for. He planned to defend takedowns. He planned to be on the ground potentially at some fight. He prepared for a lot of power. And you have those, but I can tell you now just by looking. Oh, Whittaker lands a big right, and Ikram is out on his feet already. This is not good. He's in trouble. And big uppercut drops Aliskerov, and this is going to be it. It's over. Robert Whittaker. What I tell you, baby. What I tell you. He's lucky it ain't Hamza, because Hamza would have. And you could just. And I was just getting ready to say that it's clear to me, looking at these two guys, that Aliskerov is not Hamza Chimaev, because the power is not there, the aggressive takedown ability is not there, at least against a guy like Whittaker. And Whittaker landed a big left, and immediately Aliskerov was out on his feet like this. And then Whittaker came in and boom with the big uppercut, and it's over. And again, credit Robert Whittaker for coming in and taking on this, giving this guy an opportunity. And he's going to celebrate like he beat Hamza, you know? And this isn't the fight that we all wanted to see, obviously. Yeah, it was a big right. Out on his feet, takes a left. Takes another left. Ducks the head kick, but he's already wobbly. And he takes a left uppercut. And the ref steps in at the right time. Aliskerov gets right back up. He's fine. But certainly just overwhelming power. Overwhelming power from Robert Whittaker. And we're just getting to look at the replay here from multiple angles. And I had a feeling this thing was going to get done in the first round. You don't know what to expect from Ikram until you see it, you know? And it's clear that Robert Whittaker is on a whole different level. And I would have loved to see Hamza in this fight. Just to see how he handles a guy like Robert Whittaker, right? If Hamza is good as we believe, he wins this fight. But Robert Whittaker shows you the power. And there's levels to this game. Yeah, and that uppercut just, you know, the ref's already trying to get him. You let Whittaker get 1 or 2 more just to make sure, which is the right move, because Aliskerov was still crawling around trying to get up, and Whittaker finishes this fight in just a couple of minutes. So now Ikram has lost to both Hamza and Whittaker. And that's the way it goes. And it's just completely different levels. Aliskerov will be back. I think we even had him on our due list. but he's nowhere close to the level of Robert Whittaker today. Hamza would have been a much different fight, and it would have been interesting to see. Robert Whittaker wins. He maintains his number 3 spot here, middleweight division, UFC Saudi Arabia. So we appreciate y'all staying tuned, man. That was quick. That was absolutely quick. Robert Whittaker with the big finish to end the watch party. That's the way it goes down. Listen, I appreciate y'all watching. This your boy Chris Cross. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button. But most importantly, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be here weekly. We got UFC 303 a week from today. And we're ready to go. Stay tuned. For now, much love and God bless. As always, peace.